Auburn's second SEC series is in the books, and it's a pretty good result overall, outside of an 8th inning in the Game 3 situation. We'll get there and talk about it in a second, but for now, let's talk about the things that you need to know, players, scores, and things of note from this series. War Eagle, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Kyle here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. As you're watching or listening today, be sure to drop a comment down below. It'll help enter you into our ongoing subscriber giveaway for a signed Auburn football prize package. Details are listed in the description link. And before we get started, always want to thank members of our booster club like Bill Petty, who help produce videos like this. Short, sweet, to the point, and Auburn baseball. That's what we're talking about in this particular video today. Your Tigers get the series win against rival Georgia at home in Plainsman Park. A great bounce back after a rough go of it in the first week of SEC play. What were the scores for this particular series? Game 1, Auburn gets the win 7-6. In Game 2, Auburn also gets the win to secure that series win by the score of 6-3. And then in Game 3, I don't know, 7-24. I can't really make sense of it myself, but it does push Auburn's overall record to 16-7-1 in the year, 2-4 now in SEC play. In Game 1, Tommy Vale got the start and had a pretty decent start for the most part, but did give up an eventual lead to Georgia, which Auburn had to fight back throughout the entire rest of the game, resulting in a crazy and wild bottom of the ninth where Auburn ties it up to send it to extra innings, where they win it in the 8th, the bottom of the 8th, on a walk-off walk to secure that first win in the series. In Game 2, Tanner Bauman got the start, and after a pretty rough go of it, Georgia was able to take a lead. But Auburn, after a humongous 6th inning, 4 runs total in that inning alone, was able to secure a win behind the bullpen putting strong work, only allowing 1 more run in the game to Georgia. In Game 3, I don't really know what to tell you to make sense of it all. Auburn got down by 5 runs early with the start from Zach Crotchfeld, fought all the way back within 1 run, and then in the 8th inning, it all fell apart. 16 runs by Georgia, a controversial call, plenty of other things to discuss from that just we wouldn't have time to do today. And you see the score. Now that you know the scores of the games, let's talk about some players of note. We're starting right off the bat with Bryson Ware. We've been talking about him a lot, and he continues his hot streak with 2 home runs on the weekend. Speaking of home runs, Caden Green got his first one of the season. To mention something from pitching, although there wasn't a lot of great things from that, Chase Alsop was clocked at hitting a 98-mile-per-hour fastball, which he's done a few times before. And then as a final note for a player, Bobby Pierce was back in the lineup for this particular series. Didn't have a great offensive weekend, but it's good to see him back in there. And finally, some series notes and takeaways. Let's mention some numbers first. One of the things that we've already talked about is this was Auburn's first SEC series win, but also their first SEC win overall. This is also the 9th time in this series that Auburn, with these 2 wins, was able to come back and win a game. And this was also the 3rd time this season that Auburn has won in a walk-off fashion. And then my takeaways from this series, I really do think that Tommy Vale has proven himself reliable to start in that Friday or Thursday slot, the game 1 slot of a series on the weekend. You just need to be ready to have some support from him from the bullpen if that situation does arise. I also do think that this was a huge, important weekend for Auburn to get this series win, considering what bookends this series, the one before and the one coming up against Florida. And of course, anytime Auburn and Georgia get together, there's lots of emotions, and there was plenty of that in this series, which is still good to see. There you have it, the things that you need to know from the UGA series. I would love to hear from you in the comments section about the things that we talked about here today, but anything that I missed from this particular series, let me know down there. Be sure to do that because that's part of that subscriber giveaway, and you need to be subscribed to be part of that too, so make sure you take care of that. As always, thank you for tuning in here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. War Eagle.